Every year JavaScript gets updated with the new features. This summer, the new standard of the language, ECMAScript 2022, will be released. So let's take a look what's new there. So the biggest change happened with classes. Classes got new types of properties and methods, private and public. Before, we could use private properties and methods, but it was just a naming convention. If the name of the property or a method has underscore, then it means this property is private. But if you try to access it in the code, no error will be thrown. You can see it here. Breed starts with underscore. This is private field. But if you try to access it directly, not through the method, then you will not get an error. Now you can change it. And another change that happens with classes, you can just declare properties without constructor, just in the body of the class, just like this, and it still works. So now let's change our breed method to a private one. We can do it just using a hash in front of the name. And now if we try to access it, we're getting an error. So what else? We also got static methods. If before to declare a static method to class, we should do it outside of the body of the class. As you see here, the method drop. Now we can do it inside of the class, just with the keyword static. And we delete this, and you can see it still works. It consoles log the text. So this is it. This is the key changes for classes. It looks quite familiar for developers who worked with Typescript before, and I'm happy to see that JavaScript adopts the good chunks of Typescript in its specification. So what else we got updated? Regular expressions getting new flag D. As you see here, this is a string and this is a pattern that we want to find. So we got a new flag D. How it works, you can see. This is what we get if we execute regular expressions without the flag D. And if we add it, we got a new property, indices, and it returns index of first occurrence of the pattern and the last. So if our string appears on the 33rd index and ends on the 39, we will get these indices. Another change happened with asynchronous code. Before, we could use await only inside asynchronous function with the async keyword in front. And this is how it worked in the current version of JavaScript. You can call it inside of the function with async keyword and you will get a result. But in new version, we could do it just on the top level, like this. And we can get rid of this function and just call it. So as you see, we're getting error here when we try to use top level await. Why? Because I forgot to set the type in our package JSON. to the module. This is necessary to set as well as the experiment property in webpack config. Top level of 8 must be true here. So now it's working. And why this top level of 8 can be useful? For example, we want to conditionally load our modules in our bundle. Let's say we have a flock that is empty, and if flock is empty, then actually let it be let. So if flock is empty, we load our flock from external module and assign it. And if it's not we will just console log that we already have a flock. So now you can see that flock is loaded. It comes from this file, and we see the array with parrots. And if we set here something, just one element to our array, then it will not load this file. You can see the console log, this one does not appear, and we will just use our local flock. So that's how we could use this opportunity, this feature of the language. And next ones are arrays. They got new property add. Dracarys is sitting here on my monitor and tries to destroy it. Look at her. Look at this angry, evil bird. Okay, so let's get back to our arrays. Arrays got new property add, and we could just get any element of array using it, just like we use index. But why we need it if we could use index, you can ask. We can use add not only with indexes like positive indexes like 0 or 1 or 2, but also we could use it with negative indexes, and it will just return if you say that you want to get something at position -1, it will return a last element. And if you say -2, it will return the second element from the end of array. Dracarys is naughty today. Doesn't want me to finish the video. So yeah, that's how you could use this new property. Just instead of writing, let's say, hey. So instead of writing, let's say, array length -1, to get the same value. So instead of writing this array length -1, you can just write this. That's how we could do before this new feature. As you can see, the result is the same. And what about objects? They got a new method, hasOwn. But what's the difference between hasOwn and the good old one, hasOwn property? The main difference is that hasOwn property is not protected. So now you can see that it returns true because we have a breakfast, and if we change it to something else, it will return false. But if we override hasOwn property on the object itself and will return false, then it will return false even if we have property breakfast. So for this case, we can use our new property hasOwn. That's how we use it. We use object and we pass two arguments, our object and the properties that we want to check, and it returns true. Last but not the least, errors. When we throw an error, we can specify what caused this error, and that's how it looks. As you can see, we just print our error first, and then we can access the cause of error. It can be useful if we want to make an error chaining and to have more advanced debugging. So this is it, my review of ECMAScript 2022 changes. I hope you will use them. So if it was interesting for you, hit the like button and subscribe.